On today's episode of Refashioned, we're talking about the Kylie Jenner AI glasses and how it seems Meta is trying to fashion wash invasive technology, a World Cup campaign that lets you order fast fashion to your door like you would a pizza, the frankly ridiculous amount of money Gucci has just invested into Formula One and why, the rise of the fashion microdrama and why the industry is suddenly going all in on adverts that don't feel like adverts, things I've been loving and not loving, and trends I've noticed and things I think we need to talk about. And right at the end, the big issue that luxury fashion is having with Reddit. So stick around because there's so much to talk about and we need to just get into it. Hello and welcome to the London Heatwave. If you're new here, then this is the Refashion podcast and I'm Katie. And today we're gonna have a good yap about fashion, culture, politics, sustainability, and everything happening in fashion recently that I think is important. If you enjoy the episode, then make sure you leave a comment with your thoughts. You subscribe to the channel wherever you're watching, YouTube, Spotify, whatever. And let me just start by saying I'm super excited to be filming this episode. It's the first one in a while because I've been away for like 2 months getting married and had like a really nice break, but I'm so excited to be back and with you all, and thank you so much for your comments and well wishes. We have a good episode today and there's so many things I can't wait to talk about, so we really do need to get into it. Okay, starting today with probably the biggest story that hit fashion this week, the Kylie Jenner Meta glasses that everyone is talking about. This is definitely another instance of the Kardashian Jenners using their cultural capital to fashion wash and make desirable something that is morally grey at best and is more likely just plain bad. So the Meta AI glasses have existed for a while, but they've just launched a whole new range of them, including these ones specifically by Kylie. And the shape of them is literally designed with the TikTok girlies in mind. The small, rounder shaped glasses that are very conflated with the office siren trend, smart hot girl trend, you know the type I'm talking about. This is literally those sunglasses, but with an AI companion capabilities, whatever. I think the most prominent features are being able to film content on them. I think they're also very heavily pushing the idea that it can give you directions. But for the Kylie one specifically, the biggest selling point seems to be that you can make the AI sound like her.
Hey Meta, what's the weather like right now in New York City?
It's around 68 degrees in New York City right now.
And also that they have diamonds on them. Oh, and also the fact that the bridge of the glasses is anti-makeup smudging. And the way people are going on about this as though Kylie was really trying to design something for the girls.
You have a bunch of touches that Kylie put into them herself. You know, she's such a fashion icon.
And not very strategically lining her pockets with Meta's money. Makes us kind of feel less like a tech product drop and more like a Kylie Jenner superfan social experiment. Looking online, there's already pretty popular videos there of people rushing to buy them, of influencers who are invited to the launch and are now selling these to their audience. And the comments are exactly what you'd expect from TikTok. Some are like, finally I'm interested in Meta glasses, added to the cart so quick, no longer just for the tech nerds. Like, this is exploding in a way no other AI glasses have managed to touch the fashion industry ever. To be fair, in these same videos there are some other comments trying to desperately remind people why we should be so against this kind of invasive tech and filming people without their permission and sending that data to massive companies like Meta who definitely don't have our best interests in mind. The thing is, I don't necessarily think this is gonna become like an it girl item. And probably a big part of that is the fact that one pair is $399. But this is definitely a good example of Kylie's impact culturally and the way only someone in her position could make these a fashion item and succeed where tech bros just haven't been able to before now. Without Kylie's stamp of approval, these glasses would not have made it on the radar of the fashion crowd. And you can compare them to the Snapchat glasses to see how this could have gone if there wasn't a Kardashian Jenner involved. Kylie has managed to make these desirable. She's managed to minimize all of those concerns about privacy, about whether we actually need this tech, and instead make it the same kind of impulse purchase we would have with other fashion items.
Can tech only be culturally desirable once it's feminized? Big tech has trust problems, the privacy scandals, surveillance concerns, AI anxiety. Companies fronted by privileged cisgender men aren't just trying to sell us technology anymore. We're aware of the harm that they're causing, but they're trying to sell us reassurance instead. They're increasingly looking to borrow that trust from women. adopting aesthetics and femininity make this technology feel a bit less threatening. Having someone like Kylie Jenner at the forefront of this campaign helps shift the product from feeling as though it's a part of surveillance culture to feeling like a less harmful fashion accessory. If big tech can reframe technology through the lens of fashion, beauty, and culture, perhaps we'll be more willing to buy it because it feels less threatening and feels more desirable.
I do wonder which brand is going to be the first to shoot their next campaign using these glasses and then get bewildered by the angry comments and have to do a press release. I also do kind of wonder how this kind of invasive tech is going to fit in with the zeitgeist right now. I read an article just the other day that said that privacy is the new cultural capital, which actually talked a little bit about how the next wave of influencers might be anonymous influencers whose face you never see. And I feel like these glasses could definitely help with that kind of content, even though they definitely violate the privacy of others. And I think it's kind of interesting how those two ideas are going to war. I wonder how many people will actually wear these as meta glasses, whether people will use the AI capabilities or just wear them as a normal pair of glasses. And honestly, outside of influencers, I wonder how many people are going to be buying these in the first place. Certainly, I don't think Kylie's going to be wearing them other than a few paid sponsorship posts on her Instagram, because even though they have the aesthetic appeal of TikTok and what's trending right now, they seem to go against so much of what social media has been talking about and coveting in the last few months that I just don't think they have a cool it girl factor to them. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts and whether you would ever wear these, although if I know my audience, I'm pretty sure we're all against them. Sorry, just have to get my hydration break in. Okay, so the ASOS Deliveroo thing, we need to talk about it because this feels like a very early experiment in what could be a globally rolled out partnership format if it goes right. And I have issues with that. So hence we're talking about it. So, okay, let me explain. ASOS, a fast fashion marketplace, has partnered with Deliveroo, a fast food delivery app, on a campaign to deliver football fashion to people's door like they would a takeaway. It's fast fashion trying to convince you that you need a football jersey for the game tonight so bad that you should order it from a fast food delivery app and get it to your house the same way you would get a Chinese. Their campaign slogan is that they could get it to you in 25 minutes and you can order it right from the Deliveroo app, as though fashion is just as consumable and perishable as food. Like we should be able to justify buying a whole new item for our wardrobes with no more impulse control than we'd order a pizza for dinner. The concept is bad enough, but the execution of this makes me mad. I went on the Deliveroo website to look at this collection, and the fact that there is no product listing, no technical details about the fabric of the material, nothing really other than a picture and a sentence of information is insane. And some of this information is not even available on ASOS's product page website. They haven't even bothered to tell you what some of these are made of. It's literally the epitome of buy it now, don't even think about it. It's so clear to me that nothing about this campaign is designed to make you feel like the clothes are worth keeping in your wardrobe or to be worn for more than a month at most. And not only is ASOS enabling the culture of throwaway fashion to an extreme with this, it also surely doesn't look good for the brand that their clothing is being perceived as this impulsy and throwaway. Okay, I mentioned the execution of this campaign and it might be a little bit tangential, but I was really curious exactly how they're rolling this out, exactly how they've made the promise that fashion ordered the same day can get to you within 25 minutes anywhere in London or Manchester. Because if you didn't know, those are pretty big cities. And I feel like that's a pretty ambitious promise. But I couldn't find any info about the logistics of this when I was looking in all the press releases and all the articles, which were just regurgitations of the press release. Like there was no new information, nothing about how this partnership actually works. And I was a little bit disappointed by that, but I didn't give up. I was actually contemplating very, very briefly ordering one of these jerseys so that when the order went through, I would get to see the tracking window that comes up and watch my delivery come to me so I could see where it came from. But thankfully, I realized that you don't need to do that. You can just go to the info section of the restaurant, or in this case, fashion brand, and it comes up with the delivery address that it's coming from. And I saw that this ASOS that I was looking at that I put in to deliver to Battersea Power Station was located in a Wingstop in Battersea. And when you go onto Google Maps, you can tell that this is one of those Deliveroo dark kitchens. And I started putting in more popular places around London to see exactly how many of these dark kitchens I could find were delivering ASOS goods. And I managed to find a couple of delivery addresses in some pretty weird locations. Like one in White City that looks like a computer place, but apparently also houses a restaurant called Luca's. And there's also one in Enfield, which Google Maps does not suggest has any restaurant on the map. And there's no delivery branding on any of the Google Maps pictures I can see, but is apparently also listed as a Wingstop on Google. And I don't know, I just found this interesting, and I'm very curious to know how many people have actually gone through with the idea of ordering a football jersey for a match that's happening in half an hour. I'd be very curious if this kind of thing could be rolled out in other cities in the world, and like what the actual best use case is for someone needing fashion this last minute, especially if instead of £22 jerseys, we have designer items listed on Deliveroo that you can get in under half an hour. Is this gonna become normalized? I don't know. I thought this was pretty relevant and could become pretty relevant in the future, so we needed to discuss it. But now we're gonna go on to something a bit more fun, which is London fashion trends that I've noticed recently. There have been some pretty strong ones. Normally, I think fashion on the streets of London is a little bit wacky, a little bit hard to define. But for one thing, I've noticed a lot of people wearing capris, and specifically a black tank top and white capris styled together in an outfit. I kid you not, I went out the other day and I saw 4 people wearing this exact same outfit. And this wasn't even zone 1 in London. This is like where I live. So I don't know how many people are wearing it in Central, but yeah, pretty big trend. The other one, speaking of football outfits, has been the insane amount of cute football related outfits I've seen recently online and in real life. I saw this super cute reel recently of someone styling football and football adjacent outfits so many ways. And I think it's really fun how much fun people are having with this. I actually don't have a football jersey, but part of me is wanting to join in with the culture just for this. And if, like me, you're contemplating it, then I will just mention how easy it is to thrift a football top. You do not need to deliver one to your house. And it's very likely that someone you know has one you can have or borrow for the next month and a half or whatever that the cup is on for. So again, please don't buy these firsthand. You have options. Another trend, I went to Harry Styles recently and I can report that ties are pretty big there. I know it's part of the dressing up for a concert look, but I think because of the Harry Styles mania, we're going to be seeing ties throughout summer. I know Connor Story wore one to the Paris shows recently, and I just think they're going to be big. Again, they can be thrifted really easily. So don't buy one. And finally, also at Harry Styles, I am here to report that the Adidas Sambas and Adidas Gazelles are not out of fashion, no matter what any fashion magazine or influencer is trying to tell you. These were the unofficial shoe of the concert and everyone is still wearing them. So do not throw yours away. And yeah, that's my London fashion trends report. Speaking of Connor Stories at the Paris fashion shows, we're once again at that time of year where fashion has to work out how to deal with the increasing amount of heat waves without in any way incriminating themselves or acknowledging why they're happening or how they're a part of it. And I find it very entertaining, the silence that the industry has around it. Of course, we could also label this as the 3 months of the year where the fashion crowd doesn't care about it bags or it shoes so much as who has the cutest hand fan accessory. I think we've probably all seen the Paris shows happening, and at the risk of calling it too early, I think the most talked about piece from these shows is going to be those Saint Laurent transparent dress shoes, right? Purely for the rage bait. I mean, models having to wear that style in this heat is diabolical. The internet is filled with people who are disgusted. We're kind of already on the list of random things I want to talk about. The first was the heat wave. The second being the amount of money Gucci paid to Formula One, because a $150 million partnership with alpine racing is extreme, even for luxury fashion's obsession with sports recently. I say the Alpine F1 team, but sorry, as it will soon be known, the Gucci Racing Alpine F1 team. Catchy, right? Many people have had many thoughts about this and what it means, but for me, I think it proves that for all the flippancy fashion normally has about trends and about what they're investing in and what they want to say as a brand, this recent spat of high-profile sports collaborations proves that fashion is pretty invested in sports long-term, and they're really seeing it as a viable way to build up that sense of community and storytelling that they've been missing in luxury fashion for a while. Anyway, next random thing we need to talk about is the Jimmy Choo campaign dog. Are we going to see this dog at Fashion Week? I would definitely bet on a brand putting a dog front row in the near future. I think there's a big pet renaissance going on in fashion right now, and I think we're going to see a lot of animal stars get included in fashion events because of it. Like that girl on TikTok with her Dalmatian. Why is she not in a campaign yet? Why is she not front row with that dog? Dalmatians are the most fashionable dog, in my opinion, and I could totally see this going viral. Okay, and my final thing on the random things we have to talk about is the fashion microdrama. And I spent an entire afternoon getting sucked into this, so I have thoughts. I have to say, they're pretty engaging, especially when Rachel Sennott is running around New York doing her thing and you literally start to genuinely forget that you're watching an advert for a $700 bag. As soon as I watched one or two, the algorithm kept serving up examples of so many brands who seem to be really leaning into the storytelling aspect of a campaign and making the product second string to what's happening on the screen. Brands like Aritzia and Paloma Wall are making their own campaigns. Others like H&M are doing paid partnerships with influencers who have their own creative direction. And it's not just fashion brands, because I got served this one for a fashion magazine that really sucked me in and told the story about why the fashion magazine was so important and why I, as a viewer, should be a potential reader. Even the Crocs one, which was genuinely some of the worst production I've ever seen, was engaging. Like, I watched this episode. I went to watch the second one too. And it's funny that people are calling microdramas the fast fashion of cinema. And fashion obviously heard that and went, wait, we need to be paying attention. And honestly, anyone who is already big on this format, please let me know what you think about this being called the fast fashion of cinema, because I've seen conflicting opinions online and I can see it as someone who's not really big on this, but maybe people genuinely enjoy it and they find that a bit offensive. So I don't know. I just think we're going to be getting a lot more content like this, something that both fits our shortening attention span and craving for more meaning in fashion. Oh wait, okay, last random thing, which is this AI Instagram post.
Hi, yeah, so that's my video, and that is not the shirt that I am wearing in the video. That is AI. And I am just letting everybody know that that is my video, and I am not okay with that. And, you know, my fault for putting on the remix feature, but that is, I do not condone that. You do not get to use AI on my video to promote your product.
Once again, it's proven AI and fast fashion's audacity are a match made in heaven. There was already a similar case like this we talked about on the podcast about an influencer who had an entire podcast episode made up by a company to make it seem like she was promoting their product when she wasn't, and she proved she wasn't. And you can just imagine, based on these two examples, how bad this problem is going to get, how hard it's going to be for consumers to actually trust that the recommendation they're seeing from people is actually a recommendation. I feel like it's another nail in the anti-influencer coffin, and it's a sharp dip in what was already a declining amount of trust in influencers' recommendations. I do wonder what impact it's going to have long term and how influencers are maybe going to adapt to it. Whether there's a way they could prove in their videos that the item they're wearing is actually the item they're wearing. Does anyone know if they could do this? Because if speech can be manipulated and videos can be manipulated, then surely there's going to be no way other than maybe a live stream, but they can even manipulate a live stream. So maybe this is literally the nail in influencers' coffins, and we're just going to go back to getting recommendations from family and friends and people we can actually talk to in front of our eyes. Yeah, maybe that's it. Okay, we've done the random things we needed to talk about that were inherently bad. Let's do random things I wanted to talk about that are fun. Starting with the Alexa Chung outfit outfitcam. And if you haven't seen this, if you're not watching the podcast, I'll describe it. It's basically Alexa Chung's Ring camera capturing her outfit for the day, which she's made into an outfit of the day post with multiple slides, and I think she's going to make into a format. And people are loving this. And I have thoughts on this that kind of tie into the meta glasses theme and this invasion of privacy era that fashion is maybe going to manipulate into campaign material. And I think I'm going to save those for an exclusive podcast episode, which will come out soon. So keep an eye out for that and send me your thoughts on why you think we're reacting well to the Ring camera format when privacy is such a hot topic right now. And I might include them in the podcast if I like them. Next thing, running as a fashion show. This has been all over my For You page. Personally, as someone who is a sweaty goblin when they run, this could never be me. I can never layer multiple things over the top of each other when I'm running, and I couldn't be bothered to put this much effort into my running looks, but I love it for the people that are, and they're like playing with patterns and stripes and layers for something that typically people don't pay much attention to in fashion. It feels fun. It feels like a fresh format and a fresh way to talk about fashion. Something that's, I think, been a bit neglected and gotten a bit doled down in the way all athleisure has been doled down into matching gym sets recently. This feels fun and I like it. And okay, last thing, an account that came up on my For You page of someone turning throwaway fashion items that have ended up in the beach in Ghana, that have ended up in landfill, and turning it into fashion pieces that obviously make use of waste, but also highlight the waste problem. This account is so cool, and I so recommend you go follow them. All right, let's talk about the last topic I promised you from the intro, which is the luxury fashion Reddit problem. So this is entirely from an article I read from Puck and Style Analytics, and it's one of the most interesting articles I've read in a while, actually. I highly recommend reading the whole thing, just to know it is behind a paywall. Oh no, we can never get around those. But to give an overview of the article and what the problem is that they're talking about. Reddit has somehow surprisingly become a genuinely important platform for fashion brands, which the article says fashion brands have mostly ignored up till now. This is not necessarily because of the fan communities on there per se, but due to the frequency with which Google and AI chatbots scrape their collective wisdom. One recent study found that Reddit was the most cited source for AI responses on Gemini and Perplexity, and the second most cited source on ChatGPT after Wikipedia. I think it's pretty hilarious that brands have been so quick to push AI shopping on us and partner with AI platforms and really make this seem like the new level of shopping. And that's coming back to immediately bite them in the ass because AI is prioritizing reviews from actual people who have problems with these brands. I, for one, have always paid attention to fashion community on Reddit, not maybe necessarily direct branded subreddits like the Chanel one, like the Gucci one, but more the community-led ones that are brand parallel, which feel like pretty useful niche places on the internet where fashion lovers can actually get together and do good reviews. So for me, if I did use AI, it wouldn't feel like so much of an issue if I were to see reviews from Reddit, because I'd be going there anyway. But I do see how it's an issue for fashion brands to have those seemingly unimportant discussions and personal opinions from all over Reddit be the thing that shapes how AI and Google sees your brand and then puts that out to everyone else. And I think stripping away that context of a message forum where you're understanding that these are people's opinions and instead having these opinions laid out in ChatGPT format as almost facts about the brand must be quite worrying for them. It's actually the data from this article that I found the most interesting, the way they analyzed Reddit and boiled it down and saw what conversations people were having around each specific brand. There was a grid included that cataloged how frequently certain topics were discussed in each brand's subreddit. And for example, I think it's no surprise that Hermès's hot topics are new purchases and customer experience, given what we know about how seriously the brand takes its barrier to purchase. Chanel apparently has the most frequent mention of creativity and direction. And when I searched Matthew Blasi's name on there, it did return a lot of results with people complaining about him, complaining about his direction for the brand, which is interesting because I feel like a lot of the rest of the internet is pretty high in praise for Blasi. Louis Vuitton ranked highest for personal collection, which I think must be a pretty good indicator indicator for the connection people feel for their purchases from the brand. Meanwhile, Gucci had the highest discussions for resale and vintage, which, as the article also summarized, I think means people aren't loving the new collections as much and they're more focused on old pieces, which can't be good for the brand. I don't know, I just thought that article, the problem it threw up and the data it pulled was really interesting and probably made it onto a few luxury fashion CEOs' desks. So I guess we'll see if Reddit becomes even more inundated with AI chatbots spamming about how good a luxury fashion house is, or whether they just continue to ignore the platform. Okay, that's all my topics that I've been saving for the last 2 months. I hope they were interesting. We're going to round off this podcast really quickly with the way we always do with the listening, reading, watching section. I tell you what I'm listening, reading and watching, and hopefully you tell me what you are too, because I'm always looking for a recommendation. We're going to zoom through these because this episode is already really long, so bear with me. Firstly, with listening, I've been listening to Olivia Rodrigo's album on repeat since it came out. Also, a little bit of Frances Whitney, even though she's not got a new album out. I've just been going through the hits. And Niall Horan's Dinner Party. Those have been on repeat constantly for me. Watching, actually nothing. I watched Off Campus. It was okay. I didn't mind it. And I haven't seen anything since. So please do send me a good recommendation. And reading. I'm reading Butter by Asako Yuzuki. I'm liking it, but I'm not engrossed. And I'm kind of having to force myself to go through with it. And I always finish a book, so I will finish it. But I'm looking forward to my next read, I have to say. It's good, but it's not engrossing. I'll probably do a poll again once I finish it for my next read that you guys can vote on. So as always, make sure you're following on Instagram if you want to see what I'm debating against and tell me which one to read. And with that, I'm going to sign off because it's so hot here in London and my window is closed to film, so I need to open that. So yeah, I hope wherever you are, you're having a nice day. It's not too hot for you and you enjoyed the episode, you subscribe wherever you're listening, and we speak again really soon. Okay, besties, see you later. Bye.